Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so it's been a good couple of hours. I was able to listen to a lot of music over the last last night starting at like 9 p.m. I was listening to music and making playlists all the way to like 1:30 in the morning. Okay, literally. I slept during the day. I decided to reserve yesterday to just relax. I didn't feel like I had it. My stomach was acting up from the food that I had eaten earlier in the week. So I started having some of those issues that I hadn't seen in almost 2 months. I know I can't eat like that. I can't even cheat. Cheat meals is not allowed. And it usually hits me several days afterwards. So I'm starting to see a pattern here. You get your cheat meal on a Tuesday, you're gonna have problems on Friday. Like that's just what it is. So yesterday was a day when my body was not reacting well to the food I'd eaten earlier in the week. And, I had done all these different things and I was still tired. I kind of rested, to be honest with you, on Thursday because I did laundry on Thursday. And so I didn't leave the house for much. I did walk, I think, to Target while doing the laundry, but that didn't really count, man. It was a short Target walk back in front. And so just on this side of town, rather. But, I was able to get some rest that day and didn't really feel like I had replenished as much as I wanted to. So yesterday I was able to do pretty much nothing until like at 4 o'clock. I got up and did my Hunter's Brew workout. And, I had sorted through some music throughout the course of the day and found that I had enough to do 2 playlists comfortably. Maybe even a third. I had a lot of music that I found in the R&B and indie areas of music. Not a whole lot of rap, but like a lot of stuff from the R&B and indie area of life, alternative and stuff. So when I realized how much music I had, it's like 69 songs that I had set aside that could be used on a playlist. That's more than 3 hours and 50 minutes of music. So I'm like, look, this is not going to be a one playlist day. We're going to likely do 2 at one time. And I've done it a couple times. I've maybe done this about 5 or 6 times where I made 2 playlists in one setting. But I knew that given the fact that I had slept during the day, I'd probably be up later at night. So the likelihood that I would feel awake enough to complete both playlists, I thought was pretty decent. And that's what it was, because I had slept in the daytime. So by the time I had gone through all my routine eating and working out and all of that, it was like 9:30, and I put my headphones on, and I just stayed in the zone the whole time. When I finally finished the second playlist, it was like 1:35 in the morning, straight, just like I did not stop. And I still had an hour and 40 minutes worth of music to still sort through. But I figured I'd just leave that stuff alone. To be honest with you, that was enough. None of those songs were elite in that process. So it was like, I could just save that as Lucy's for a different day. But yeah, that's what I did. I made Delete City 422 and 423 back to back. They're going to have different dates on them because I started at 9 o'clock and ended at 1. So the second one, when it was complete technically today, even though it was the same setting. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, because I'm probably going to listen to those playlists at different times. Maybe listen to one, do art during it tonight, and then listen to the other one a different night. And I guess what I've made up in my mind was to just kind of leave a certain type of signature on both art pieces, so I will remember that these were the same batch of playlists, because otherwise I don't know that I'll even recognize them as being done back to back, or anyone else will. So as I was waking up out of my dream this morning, how that went, I kind of had a idea of what emblem I wanted to create for this playlist in my head. So yeah, it was really interesting whole process. I enjoyed it. I listened to every note of every song, and I thought those were great playlists. Both of them. We'll see how they play back when I listen to them and all that. But for the most part, they were very good, man. Very, very enjoyable, eclectic sounds from a lot of different types of artists and places around the world. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that a lot. I was in my bag very much, and You know, woke up this morning fresh, did all my extra routine, and decided to give Tyler, the Creator's album, a listen. And I had listened to snippets of it on my phone here, but the phone speakers did it no justice. I wasn't able to really absorb the music properly. And given the fact it was snippets, I didn't have a great take on the album through the snippets, through the speakers of the phone. And I listened to Joe Budden's and his crew's review on the album, and they didn't really get it. And so I'm like, I'm not really all that interested. But then I saw a meme that had a snippet of a song that was taken from that album. And I had been listening to that song on the meme. I even screen recorded it so I could Shazam it later and grab the song. As I'm like, yo, this sounds good. I like this song. It's called Ring Ring Ring. It sounds like some Saturday Love / skating ring music, West Coast skating ring music. So I'm like, yo, I like this track. Turns out it was his. I'm like, oh, this is on the new album. Oh, okay, because I had never heard the song, but you know, it was being used on this meme. So I'm like, all right, let me just see what Tyler got going on. And I listened to that song in my headphones. I'm like, I love this song. And so I'm like, let me listen to the album. I found out it was only 28 minutes. I'm like, I'll just listen to this. It's not gonna even take a long time. I turned it on and loved it, man. I really enjoyed that album. I thought it was fantastic. And I don't really like up-tempo music like that. I'm not a dancing kind of person. But I really love what he did conceptually with this album. I think he got into the studio with a couple of people, I believe. I think he got in there with Kendrick. I know he got in there with Pharrell, probably a few others too, to help write some of that music and produce some of it. But conceptually, what he did with this album, I thought was genius. He essentially used drum patterns from all different types of black music throughout the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So what you end up seeing is him using just various drum patterns that you listen to all the way throughout the entire thing. He went from the West Coast down south and ended in the East Coast. He used some 80s music, as I said, some skating ring music. He took it to the South, both Cash Money drum riffs and No Limit type drum riffs. He went in there with some 3-6 Mafia. He had a Tupac record, sound like something that came out of Tupac's Death Row days. He went everywhere with drum patterns and rhythms that I could pick up immediately because I'm a musical ear. And what I realized, this man was taking us everywhere throughout the course of that time period, from the 80s to the early 2000s, and just all these different drum riffs and all these different sounds and rhythmic patterns from all of these different eras, from all these different regions. I was like, yo, this is heaven for my eardrums, dude. As somebody my age who's from that era, I knew exactly what I was listening to. I was like, they took this from Saturday Love, he took that from 3-6 Mafia, he took that from the No Limit era, he took that from, man, I'm sitting up there like, yo, this dude is really sampling everything. He had some Michael Jackson at the end. I heard some LL Cool J from the 80s. He had all these different sounds from all the different eras in that time period. I was like, yo, this is one of the best conceptual albums I've heard, man. Like, period. Just period. And it was only 10 songs, 28 minutes long, but he managed to hit all of the sounds. All of them. All of them from my childhood. And I was really, really, really impressed with that album. I thought Pharrell and his writers smoked that, man. They smoked that. And I listened to Joe Budden's take on it. He did not get it at all. He just didn't understand it. He was saying, I can't listen to this in the gym. It sounds like some LGBTQ. I'm like, hell no, bro. After listening to that album, I know exactly what to listen to. That's what he was doing. He was taking up-tempo sounds and rhythmic patterns from all up and down the region, from let's say 1983 all the way to 2003, pretty much. And he was going everywhere. At the end of the album, he had so many hodgepodge of different sounds coming together that had never been used together. I'm talking about like mixing some Michael Jackson with some Biggie Smalls, with some Quad City DJs, with some 3-6 Mafia. He's putting all these sounds together. I'm like, yo, man, this is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I tell you, man, I'm not the biggest Tyler Creator fan. I'm really not. You know, I don't particularly listen to all his albums or go to his sound very often. But what he did in this 10-song album took me everywhere throughout my childhood that I pretty much ever been in terms of black music. And I danced the whole way through, man. I danced the whole damn album. I was nodding my head the whole album, man, from start to finish. I thought that was a masterpiece. And yeah, I don't think everybody's gonna get it. I don't think everybody's gonna like it. You know, his singing, he's not a vocalist. I don't think the vocals on the album were amazing, although some of the artists did a good job. But I think the important thing is the music, and just how difficult it is to blend all of those sounds. To first identify all of these different types of sounds, and then to make them come together. Multiple sounds from different spaces that have never been used together, sampled to come together to make cohesive songs in just 28 minutes. I thought it was genius, man. I thought it was genius. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, man. Don't Tap the Glass. It's a classic, immediate classic. I don't think it's for everybody, but if you're between the ages of 30 and 45, this is gonna take you back to your childhood, man. This is gonna take you there. You're gonna listen to some songs, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I know exactly where he took this from. And I was kind of surprised that the panel, Joe Budden panel, didn't really understand it. They didn't get it. But like, I think part of the problem might have been just not having a whole lot of what their drum patterns from the East they identified with. It wasn't a whole lot of East Coast slow kind of music that they would identify with. A lot of these sounds come from the West and from the South. and they touched a little bit of East Coast down there. And of course you had the Neptune sound throughout the course of the entire album, because it was basically Pharrell and him together putting this thing together. But as somebody from the West Coast, man, I knew exactly what I was listening to. And I knew exactly where to place this music. It's out here. A good portion of this stuff you want to hear down here. You want to hear in Miami. You want to hear in Atlanta. you want to hear in the Bay Area. Like, that's where that music is. That's exactly what he was doing. And so, yeah, man, shout out to Tyler, man. I thought that was a really enjoyable listen. I had fun listening to that. Not too many times do I listen to music and have fun. There's a lot of different things that I take from music and enjoy and appreciate. But rarely do I have myself listen to an album that gives me energy, that makes me feel 10 times more energetic after turning it off, and had me smiling and laughing and dancing the whole damn time. That ain't happened to me too often, listening to anybody's project. Not at all. And so that's what I wanted to say, man. Shout out to Tyler for making my morning with his album. I thought it was really, really enjoyable, man. Super enjoyable for me. So yeah, I didn't want to turn this into a Tyler Creator review album, but I'm fresh off of it. I walked out the house as soon as the last note ended, and it was just fun, man. It was a perfect Saturday album, perfect for the mood I was in, and a big time contrast from the type of music that I've been listening to last night. So yeah, man, that's definitely an album I'm gonna be taking something from. And it just goes to show you gotta listen. You can't always listen to snippets on albums. You definitely can't listen through your radio, your cell phone speakers. It does no justice for that type of music. You gotta listen to the headphones or throw it in the big speakers to really get it. And yeah, man, that was my experience this morning. So now that I listened to that album, got that energy, now I'm about to go out and just do a walk to Trader Joe's. I'm not sure if I'm gonna walk all the way, do the Hollywood thing at Trader Joe's, because I really only need to go to Trader Joe's, not Target necessarily. So I could do the local thing and just walk back. But I haven't made up my mind yet, man, if I'm gonna do that or not. But yeah, man, I had an interesting dream last night. I'm gonna share with you guys. I dreamed of my friend B and Lester's mom again. She was in my dream. It was a lot of different components that involved them and their family and myself in the dream. But I think the most important part of the dream was me and catching my friend's mother's head as she was stepping on something. As we were walking in the house, there was a bunch of Legos that I guess kids had left on the house before we had left or whatever. And she slipped on them as she was walking in the house, however it went. And I was able to catch her head before it hit a certain thing that she was slipping on. Very unique stuff, man, because it was essentially us walking into some type of a big home. I took it was their home, their family home, and we had been out having a whole day with their family. Went to the movies, went to this park. Whole thing happened with the park in the dream. But the moral story is we came back to the crib, and I guess we were finishing off the night. And as we opened up the door, she stepped on one of the many brown Legos. Why the Legos were brown, I do not know. All of them were brown. And she stepped on them. And as she did, she slipped kind of violently and was falling toward the fireplace. That's what it was. It was a fireplace step. And somehow I was able to catch her head before it hit the fireplace step. Don't know how I did it. Who knows in the dream. But I was able to protect her from being concussed or whatever, even worse maybe. So that was the gist of the dream, was me saving a friend from very bad injury. So yeah, I took a lot from that dream as well. It's a lot going on in that dream, but at the end of the day, that was the most important part of it. So yeah, man, who knows? I walk out the house, I told my friend B about that dream, and so on and so forth. So hopefully everything's going on well with their family. I've been dreaming about them a lot more than I ever have over the last month and a half, at least 3 times. So I pray all is well in their family. But yeah, man, that's kind of how it went for me last night. I wasn't really feeling good yesterday, but I feel pretty much 100% right now. I added another squat to my morning squat regimen after not adding anything to it over the last probably 4 months since I added anything to that. But we're at 117 squats with my suitcase. 405 crunches at night. You know, we got getting my crunch game up and all of that. So just continuing to progress and try to get in better shape. I'm doing a lot more arm curls and stuff like that, and I'm starting to see the definition return to my arms from that exercise. So that's big for me as well, given the fact that I hadn't really been working on that at all to start the year, and I lost all of my definition in my arms. So, you know, just putting forth the effort, man. Gonna be turning 41 in less than a month at this point, and so I just want to make sure that I'm in a good conditional space for my age. And you know, the way I ate earlier this week was not good for me, but just the same, if I keep my habits up and don't eat like that anymore, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So that's what's up, man. I wanted to give y'all just a little update on how my day has been. Lots of music, man. Whole lot of headphones wearing over the last 12 hours, man. And enjoyed all of it, and just thanking God that He's been allowing me to do what I love to do, even in the circumstances I've been in. Enjoying a great deal of what it is my life has been able to enjoy. And I was listening to something else they were saying on the podcast, probably the same podcast. Might have been a different one, but it was the same people, Joe Budden and them. And they were essentially asking one another how much money would it require for them to be happy. And so, you know, a couple of guys said, oh, it'd be this amount, that amount. One of the guys said, I don't think I'll ever be happy because I always need so much. The youngest guy in the group on the panel was essentially saying, man, I just have this hunger to keep getting more and more and more. I'll never be happy because there's never enough. And I think, you know, that's something that everybody has to overcome in their own way, and whatever it is, whether it be money that you're after or anything. You got to get to a point where you're at peace and you can discipline yourself against that hunger to just hoard or just get it all. There's never going to be a day where you have it all. So you will lock yourself into never being satisfied. But your time is running out. So at some point in time, you got to be content with what you have, or just accept that maybe there is a such thing as too much, or maybe too much to handle, or whatever the case may be. So, but I was listening to that, and as they were communicating how much it would take, I thought about it for myself, and I realized I don't need much to be happy. Now, would I be happy with a lot? I think there are a lot of worlds where I'd be happy with a lot. But do I need a lot to be happy? I don't have a lot and I'm happy. You see what I'm saying? I'm happier right now in this era of my life than I literally ever been in my life. And to be honest with you guys, I have less than I've had at times in my life. When I had the most I ever had, I was in a very unhappy space. You know, the most money, if you ask me when I had the most money, what mindset I was in bereavement. It was sad. I was alone and very unhappy when I had the most money I ever had in my life. So for me, it's like money has never signified me being happy. I've never had enough to really exhaust that experience. And I've never felt I needed it. I never felt I needed it. I always would appreciate it. I tell God all the time, hey man, I'm from a world where capitalism is a thing. You land yourself, you hit a lick that changes your life. That's something to want just off the strength of the culture of America. I don't know too many Americans that don't find themselves enamored with the idea of having wealth. It just kind of comes with the land. It comes with the experience of being from a colonial land. But the truth of the matter is, I don't necessarily find myself enamored with that. And I think of it as a handicap when I consider what people are doing with money and what people are putting themselves through and letting money be the reason. People in situations for long times that they hate so that they can get money. Money, they can't even spend all the damn money. They got 1 month out of a 12-month period to actually enjoy the money. The rest of the 11 months, they're slaves to what gives them the money. They hate their lives. But they tell themselves it's justified because they're able to get the money. Money that they likely won't spend themselves. It's just, at some point in time, you got to ask yourself, do you want the money, or do you want all of the different things that come with the freedom of money, and then furthermore, anything that you want? And if it didn't require money to get what you want, then how much does getting the money actually matter to you? You know, if somebody say, yo, I'll give you your favorite car and your best house without ever having you spend $1. Do I still care about money if I can get everything I want without it? I think the answer is of course not. So what is the goal? Is the goal to enjoy your life and be able to have the freedom to do what you want and be able to acquire what you want? Or is the idea to accumulate more than someone else, regardless if you're going to be able to spend it or not? Regardless if you're going to leave it to some spoiled kids or have it taken back by the IRS eventually. I mean, the point is to hoard. You know you're not going to live long enough to spend all of it, and if you do, you're likely overspending and being cheated, paying way more for whatever it is you get. Because that's just the nature of the greed in the environment. So it's like, if you can tell me exactly how much everything I want is, give me exactly that amount. That's all I need. And if you tell me that the things that I want or the things that I most desire don't require money, I'm not after money at all. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not about me racing against somebody else to get more than everybody else. That's a culture put in place to occupy my time. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in finding what happiness is defined to myself. And if I'm going to be around a bunch of people who are going to always constantly show me, like they described in the podcast, that you got, once you get to a certain point in your life where you have a certain amount of money, now you start getting even richer friends, and you start seeing what they have in their houses. You realize you compare it to what you have, and all of a sudden you need more and more and more, so you can get the house with the swimming pool and the water fountain. Because having a swimming pool by itself without the water fountain just doesn't make as much sense when you got a friend that has so much more money than you with the big old water fountain. But it's like, I mean, at some point in time, you just got to understand, like, there's no end to that. There's no end to that. You know what I mean? And what you end up finding is the richer you are, the more likely you're going to be surrounded by people that are only in your life because they want the money or want to be around the money. As to which puts you in a position to not have genuine energy around you, constantly being jaded about everything around you, constantly with everyone being somewhat stingy to keep what it is that you have. You start finding yourself surrounded by people who don't have your ideology because really they've sold their soul for money and have sold other people down the river for money. So what's your circle look like when that becomes the case? And you start leaving people behind. You see people in the street, they need a very small fraction of what you have, but you're afraid of them stabbing you in the back to take it from you, so you can't be around real people who have real energy because now you're a lick in their life. It's just, I was listening to this dude talking. He was essentially saying about Miami, like, he was saying, you know, these people that sing about Miami, they ain't really going to Miami. They're going to the outskirts with the rich people. You're not actually going in the real Miami, because if you were, you likely, if you're that rich, you're probably going to get yourself robbed. It's like, that's the reality. That's the reality, because we're in this culture where everybody got to have more, and a lot of people don't have opportunities to hardly get any. You can't even find yourself around real people when you have real money, because you're going to be in real danger. They're going to be really looking to rob you. And so it's like, if that's what wealth is going to push me into a space where I can't even walk down the damn street without wondering if somebody's going to try to take what I have because I have so much and they have so little, or put me in a mindset where I'm constantly trying to clutch my pearls because that's the essence of what being wealthy is hoarding more and keeping it from others, then what kind of happiness? When I look in the mirror, I'm not seeing that right now. I'm happier with myself when I don't have any of that going on. That's why I never agreed with capitalism as it pertains to what it does to us morally and spiritually, because it structures us into a space where we're responsibly selfish, responsibly stingy. It's irresponsible to give all your money away. It's irresponsible to give everybody what you have just because you have a lot, because that's how it's structured. You know what I mean? So it's like when you're playing that game, when the world you're in is structured to where that's the dynamic that you're supposed to be doing, that speaks to me being a jerk to human beings naturally. It backs you into a corner where you're a naturally worse human being structurally. And like, that's why I don't play the game. I'm not interested. I'm not gonna let this evil world back me into being a worse person on purpose. Like, I don't care how many people agree to something. I was always taught to be a standalone person on my morals. And if the ways of the world is going to force me into being a worse human being, if the ways of the world is going to make me a weaker-minded human being, if the ways of the world is going to ultimately put me in a position to where people are mad at me for having and they don't have, or make me irresponsible for being as open and free with what it is that I have and sharing, for which I know the Lord wants me to do, I'm not going to do what the world's doing. I just happen to be born in a bad time where everybody's doing things the wrong way. I'm not confused by that. I'm not moved by that. You see what I'm saying? When y'all went around want to play gladiator with modern times in different ways, bashing each other over the head, so to speak, that's just what we do, right? Well, as we age, people are going to look at what we did and say we were primitive and horrible human beings. I look at my ancestors and say the same thing if they were doing things they had no business doing. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to move with the world and everything that it has going on just because that's all we know. I know better. I happen to know better. I know what God wants out of me. He don't want me to be a jerk to anybody. Not systematically, not selfishly in my own mind or any of that. And if the structure of the world requires that I be a horrible human being, so to speak, then guess what I need to move against? Structures of the world. So it's like, it's not one of them situations where I'm confused by that. The Lord made me a creative naturally in multiple areas, not just artistically. So when I look at how people are doing certain things, I'm not rolling with them just because they're doing that and that's the only way they know how to do it. I know better. Morally, it's backwards. I'm not supposed to be doing any of that. And everybody does it, and it's the only way we work. It's the only way you work. It's not the only way I work. You see what I'm saying? They told me this is how we do it, this is how we win. I know better. I have a relationship with God. I don't need to do any of that. I'm not even playing the same game as y'all. And my game's going to age better because it's not going to force me into being a horrible person. So it's like, it's very simple, man. It's very simple for me. How much money will make me happy? As much as I need to get everything that the Lord wants me to have. Anything more than that's too much. Anything less than that's not enough. And I'm not chasing it. I'm not chasing anything. I'm not chasing love. I'm not chasing money. And I'm not going to allow people who only know how to do certain things teach me how to do certain things that I know the Lord don't want me to do. It's very simple. And as I continue to live looking to align myself with what the Lord wants me to do, I find myself on the outside of what everybody else is doing, and still having enough to do what I need and feeling happy enough in those spaces. It may get a little shaky here and there, get just as shaky if I had it all. That's what I've come to realize. I'd be just as shaky, if not more shaky. What Biggie say? More money, more problems? It's literal. Some of the wealthiest people in the world, some of the most unhappy people in the world. Doing everything for money, still walking away with nothing. Being buried with poor reputations. And I listened to some of the conversations had about some of the people who just passed away. 2 out of 3 of them were known as people who didn't love people, man. Malcolm Jamal Warner was the only one that didn't have something attached to his name that made him look like a racist. Let's just be honest. Hulk Hogan, that's what's going on right now, is everybody running around calling Hulk Hogan a racist. He had all the money in the world, didn't he? All the fame in the world. Had so much of an impact on his life, but he also had some things that he allowed the people to see that not weaponized, but kind of pushed him on the wrong side of the racial conversation. He didn't particularly like black people. And when he died, you know what people talked about? That. They talked about that. Ozzy Osbourne did a lot of great things in this world musically. Had a great following on TV as well throughout the course of his latter years. But you know what people who are in the know are having conversations in regards to? His family's position on Zionism and how pro-genocide they were in the latter years of his life. That's all they're talking about, is Sharon Osbourne, her position with Israel and how she's completely fine with the slaughtering of Palestinian people for the sake of the Israeli state. Like that's what I know of Ozzy Osbourne for now. I mean, his legacy is whatever it is, but he's a Zionist, a raging Zionist that supported the slaughtering and starvation of children. I don't want to, like, if that's what we do in our various groups, if this is all we know and this is what you're teaching me because this is what we know, I'm not going to let people back me into a corner where when I pass away, people were saying how horrible of a human being I was because of what we did. I'm not doing what we do. I'm taking control of my own narrative and my own life and my own legacy. I ain't going to have my great-great-great-grandkids shunning me for doing things that everybody else did. I'm not going to do it. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure Hulk Hogan was raised in a household where it was okay to hate black people and call black people N-words. And you know what that did for him? It left people celebrating his death after a triumphant life where he influenced millions. At the end of the day, he had a whole race of people looking at him like he hated them. And as a result, they celebrated him dying. Man, I'm not letting that be my legacy, bro. Not on purpose. Just because that's what you taught me in my home life. Just because that's how I was raised to think that that's okay to discard of human beings. Bro, I'm not that type of stupid. You can't teach me that. If I learned that, I discarded of that. And that's what I'm teaching other people to do as well. Some of that stuff y'all was taught was no good for you, man. All it's going to do is having people celebrating your death. Celebrating your downfall, man. Ain't nothing to want. But it's what we do. No, that's what they did. You don't need to do that. You think for yourself and don't align with stuff that's going to have negative reverberating effects upon your legacy in your life. No. Because that's exactly what I see so many people finding themselves involved in. Raised to think it's okay to be hateful of them. Well, you know what comes with hate? Shunning. You hate them, now other people hate you. That's what comes of it. I'm not going to have you teaching me that. I like to learn that and to harbor that and to hold that in your head. All it does is disgrace your legacy and make people celebrate when you're dead. That's literally all it does, man. Y'all want to keep on treating each other poorly and stuff and say that's all we know how to do. That's what we do. We gave each other's passes for this. My granddaddy did this. He's hated. You're going to be hated. You hated. Everybody hates. No need for that to be upon my name. I don't need to be remembered for that just because you are not smart enough to not make it so that you're remembered for that. No, not me. Not at all. Nah. I follow the laws of the Lord. I'm not following the laws of the land in that regard. No, sir. Y'all want to make it okay to send people away because they don't have certain paperwork and you made it impossible for them to paperwork? and give yourself every excuse for why that's okay to treat them that way. That's your business, man. It ain't gonna be attached to my name. I ain't support that. I knew better than do that. I knew better than do that. That's a privilege the Holy Spirit gave me. Is the ability to see my way through that teaching. That ain't good teaching. Gotta cross out the borders, keep all these people out. For what? They're good people. Good people. And I'm pushing them away for what? Because they said something in a book. We're going to starve them out because we want to steal their land. They won't let us have it, and we're chosen. Man, I ain't stupid enough to believe that stupid shit. That's going to have people wanting to kill me. I got to think my way through that if I'm going to be able to have a legacy that I want. And be able to leave a last name for my kids that can last amongst others who didn't think that way. Me harboring that mentality and holding that mentality amongst in my situation and teaching that to my children is going to make them hate it. Thus put a target on their back. And when people turn their back on that disgraceful treatment of other people, they're going to look at those who upheld that energy and want to do however they do it. They ain't going to have that attached to my name. No, on purpose. Not honestly. You see what I'm saying? Now, if people lie about me, I didn't control that. But as far as what I actually did, I didn't do that. You ain't going to be able to hate my kids for that energy as it pertains to myself because I didn't engage in it. See what I'm saying? I didn't adapt to it. I didn't engage in it. I thought my way through it. People were teaching that stuff around me or what have you, and I didn't roll. And that's going to be my saving grace. I didn't roll. And other people follow one another down a path of disgrace. Not me. No. I walk my own path on that one. Check in with God every couple hours or whatever, and we doing what we're supposed to be doing. If not, put it in my head that it be that way. I want to have the right legacy in my life. I'm not trying to be led toward disgrace, fam. Not at all. And I want it properly defined. I ain't letting compromised individuals define what good and evil is in my life based on their politics and their secrets and all that. Nah. The compassion lead the way for me, man. And if your politics or your business structures, or the primitive way y'all know how to make it work, is going to push you in a position to make compassion a secondary thing for your mindset, and your personality and for your legacy, then you suffer for that later. Your kids suffer for that later. Nah, not me. Nah. Compassion first. The legacy is held in the minds and the teachings and the studies of individuals. And individuals look into things as deep as they can. They find the truth. And when they do, they're going to see the truth about me. I was a humanitarian first. I cared about me and others. Not just me. Not just mine. And so when people who I'm not related to years from now define who it was I was, they're going to see somebody that they can live amongst. They could break bread with and not worry about me stealing all the bread. Somebody they could have sat down with at any given time and felt like they were safe because I wasn't going to take nothing from them. Or let something that I was structurally raised with make me a weapon against them because I couldn't think my way through it. No. And so that's what it really comes down to. Is what it is that you believe going to allow you to sit down with the majority of individuals who ever walked the earth and have it so that they don't want to kill you or that they're not wise for doing so because you hate them? If the answer is no, then you might want to change your thinking. Think about it. Think about what I just said. Some people are better off based on your hatred for them and their groups pushing you away, even if you need them very much. And sure enough, as we tumble forward, we don't know what those criteria is going to be or what's going to separate people in the future. At the end of the day, what's going to keep people able to live amongst one another is compassion and unselfishness. Those are the things that age well, not you getting so much, hoarding so much politically, aligning yourself with so many. All that stuff can be wiped away. Was anybody wise for trusting you? Because that's what's going to keep your ass alive tomorrow when the lights go out. If everything gets wiped away and money is no more, what's going to make it so that people are smart for having you around? Or are you somebody that should be kicking out the door to protect themselves and protect their families based on your ideology? And see, that's what it really comes down to. I'm not that type of stupid. I'm not going to let you back me into a corner to where it's wise for somebody else to push me away. Oh, I hate them because I'm lining up with them. No, I hate nobody. No. Only people I'm trying to kick out the room are people who are trying to kick people out the room. You see what I'm saying? That's what allows me to be in a space where I feel the most safe. Ain't looking over my shoulder, wondering if somebody's trying to hurt me, except for the people who are looking to hurt people who don't want anybody to get hurt. As to which those people gonna want to kill me whether I'm standing still or doing dirt. So it's like, nah, man, look. Get a relationship with a living God, y'all. And he will navigate you around the ways that no one knows how to navigate around. Your current times, and make it so that you're hoarding everything that's ultimately going to be debunked by history and the lessons that are ultimately going to be learned from doing this for too long. Yeah, you're going to be aging a lot better than everybody who was alive today who couldn't think that far ahead. Some of this shit should have never been done. Should never been doing that. I don't care that everybody did it. Literally everybody did it. So what? Did it have bad energy attached to it? Yeah, then you should probably be asking the Lord to help you for a way around it so that you don't allow it to be attached to your name. And as it pertains to capitalism, well, this is just the way we win. It backs you into being a horrible human being towards certain people. It backs you into being somebody who will eat while somebody else is starved. Where does that begin? Where does that end? Well, I'm going to take care of my family. I ain't taking care of nobody else, though. So anybody else should likely not want to take care of you for the betterment of themselves. Push you out the room so they can eat. With your mentality, you're going to take all the food from them. If it means making sure that you have enough, because you're from a world where everybody has to get their own, and everybody who gets their own is supposed to have more and more, and man, please. You're going to be the one they get rid of to assure that what they have keeps going. Not going to be me. Because when they do a little homework on me, they're going to find out this is how I was. And I was never looking to take more, never devoured all, or thought it was in my best interest to devour all, even though everybody around me taught me how to do that. I'm not with none of that. I knew better, smart enough to know better, smart enough to think better, smart enough to pray about better, and asking the Lord to keep me better, regardless of how many people are influenced to do worse. Put him first. Bdf 44. Thank y'all for watching.